don't you? Okay, we're gonna go. And we're rolling. Okay. Welcome everybody. Glad you're here. Nice day outside, and we have some things to discuss that are pretty relevant projects and things that are going on, so we'll get started. Okay. First on the agenda, if you look at the screen, is review and approve August 30th minutes, 2024. Any corrections, deletions, or additions that anybody has that need to be done on that portion of the meeting? Anybody have a suggestion?
It's the September meeting, minutes.
Oh.
Or that's wrong, sorry.
Okay.
So will you say September?
September.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't have any issues. I'll make a motion that we approve those.
I'll second.
Okay, then moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Review and approve accounts payable.
David, is there anything that we didn't talk about with the payables, anything that you wanted to talk about?
There's nothing out of the ordinary except for the vehicle that we purchased. You'll see that $24,704.90.
Yeah.
Just rolling construction stuff, is that?
We traded in the white truck, the old one, what was it, around 31,000?
We got 31 out of the Duramax.
And then we got $11,000 of deducts on it.
Yeah, we got 11,000 worth of rebates and discounts on that new one, and then that was the total about the door cost.
Also, it's new.
Oh, yeah. And it's a lot more functional than that truck was. How many times does that thing break on the wheel pulled underneath it, 2 or 3?
3 times on the wheel, was it 4? 4 times on the wheel falling off. It did fall off 1 time.
Really?
Yeah.
$4,000 a time?
So.
It's just what we said, that machine wasn't made to go on the mountain, that's made to haul stuff down the freeway. The suspension and stuff on the move was just not what we needed. Okay.
According to the.
What was your question, Dave?
Just this, I mean, I know that this is all part of the construction stuff. The Rollins. Are we,
Yeah.
how we come along, I guess we have to say that later, but that's just all part of our project.
This check was written out and the pay request was sent in. We haven't received the funding from the Division of Drinking Water yet, so I haven't sent the checks.
Okay.
But they are on the books.
What's Arrowhead Investment?
We received, in our office, we handle the bookkeeping for a number of entities, Arrowhead Investments being one of them. We received an Arrowhead investment check and erroneously deposited into Elk Meadows.
Okay, suspense.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Oh, I go back.
Or the commanders.
I don't see, let's see, there's an item here that says, health insurance. Just so that you're aware of, we're now reimbursing Brandon and Brady for their health insurance, and it's costing us about, just a little over $200 a month to do that.
For each one of them?
For each one.
That is good to know.
Yeah. Okay.
That Rocky Mountain Power bill, is that the combined bill for all of the assets of the service district, or is it just for one of the, I mean, there's basically the 2 buildings, right? Or does actually the fire station's now paid, that's the fire department, that has nothing to do with us, we have no account.
We don't pay for that anymore.
Okay,
But
we
we do
just
have
have the shop,
Shop and pump house are on two separate things.
shop and the pump house in Puffer, okay. But that, we just have one bill and that's,
No, we get two bills, they come at different times, and so we pay them separately.
okay.
So this one here, does this represent the shop?
That's probably the shop, the pumping bill was a little bit more than that.
More than that?
I think we paid about $1,100 for the pumping bill for one month, I think it was.
It was a little high that one month for some odd reason, if I remember right, it's
Yeah.
usually not that high, but
It's usually.
wasn't a leak?
it could have been, but we've also, been in issues with the pump and had it
Yeah.
running a lot and things like that, so that could have been part of it.
I think in the minutes, that's the explanation that you gave on that, when they talked about being a little higher with the usage.
Yeah.
For doing all that.
Yeah, we had some leaks and a few
We
other.
did find a leak, a pretty good leak that we fixed last week.
It could have had something to do when we had that problem over there at the pump house.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of things that could have equated to that bill being a little higher, so.
I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary other than what we've talked about. We paid for the backhoe lease, $11,000.
We didn't miss that this time, did we?
No, I got that all redone and we're good for another 3 years, I wanna say, so.
It's all ready for snow.
The only question I
More or
have
less.
on that lease is, the standard procedure for lease equipment is that the leasee has to pay property tax, and they've passed that on to us, that's part of that payment. And it seems to me like we should be exempt from property tax. I don't know how to recover that other than maybe the county treasurer would reimburse us for that, I don't know.
I can talk to the John Deere people and see if there's a way to put it in, renew that as us being exempt from property tax.
Will you do that?
I'll talk to them, see if they can.
See if they can reimburse us.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we've explained this before, but you'll see a check for $1,298 to the county treasurer. The county treasurer liens those properties that are delinquent in their payments. And the ideal situation is that the people send their check in to pay the county directly. But what often happens is they will send us the check for the amount that they owe. And then so that the county treasurer can get that off of her books, we have to pay the county treasurer that amount. And then when she goes through her process, then she sends it back to us. We eventually get the money, but that's what that check is for, to the county treasurer.
But if we paid her and then she reimburses us and we don't actually get the proceeds from, it's a net zero to us instead of actually getting the proceeds from.
Well, the property owner has already paid us.
Oh, they already paid us first?
Yes.
Oh, I thought the county paid us when there was a lien on the.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, okay. I thought we got it through the county when we did that.
I think that's all on that. And then on the accounts payable, there's only one little thing, that's a mountain supply for parts for the water system.
Yeah, I think that was just a pilot PRV for that water leak we fixed the other day.
And you can see the amounts in our various bank accounts and the accounts receivable. We just sent the quarterly billing out the 1st of October, and so, we've been getting good payments throughout the month, but a lot of people wait till the end of the month to pay.
What about the special assessment area?
Pardon me?
What about special assessment area?
There's still 30 owners that haven't paid, assessment. And Leo's gonna be working on that, I think.
It's the same as right now, so
Okay.
I was kind of waiting for the project to end, you know.
They're not gonna end till next spring.
What's left to do, well, we'll probably get to that in the agenda.
Okay.
See what we say.
But it's all but complete, pretty close, right? A few things.
One of the projects is pretty close.
Rollins is really close.
That's the assessment we were talking about.
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment on the way that assessment, the structure of that assessment vis-a-vis the due on sale clause and what impact that's had on behavior of people. So just to make clear what this means, the 27,000 or so per lot is structured so that if you sell the property, it's immediately due. So the effect of that is everyone who owns it has to ask $27,000 higher of a price. That doesn't make a difference if it was, let's say, one of the higher lots that are in the $100-something thousand range. You know, it's kind of it can tolerate that. But the lower lots, are probably worth 27, 50. I mean, they don't sell that often. What's happened is that people who did buy them, remember I sold 75 of them in the course of about 5 years, for as little as like $14,000, and up. A lot of them probably went from $14,000 to $30,000. So the people, how do I say this? It's basically trapped a class of people, who are the type who struggle to pay the assessment. Now, that can only sustain for 5 years. If they don't pay it, it'll get foreclosed. But it's like created this. So I don't know if there's a way to modify that to work like most other assessments I've ever heard of, including the ones I inherited when I bought it, the tunnel assessment and the 1997 assessment. They just ran with the land. So if someone buys it, it's just another. It's basically an exception on title that that makes them more sales. Then you don't have to ask $27,000 more. I bet you would have a wave of sales of like the people who are better capitalized to pay them. So I'm not even recommending that. I'm just telling you what's happening and like why it's happening, and because I know all these people. I sold them all the lots, so they're trapped in it, in a way.
Well, in a way they're trapped in it. In a way they made the decision, we didn't. So therefore.
No one's asking that.
I know, but I'm saying they should pay a little something, I think, don't you?
They're all gonna, the assessment will be paid no matter what, as long as it's against the land.
Yeah, but we don't want, we can't wait for 5 years, we're gonna pay all these people to do this work.
Well, you're probably gonna have to wait for 5 years instead of getting it like, all the
No, I
time.
could go through a procedure and put the property up for sale, probably take, 4 or 5 months. It would go up for sale.
Prior to 5 years, it's not like, then I think we need to do that, because that'll also we should definitely exercise whatever.
Letters to them, and then, I file basically a thing with on their property, if they're in default, it's a default certificate, and then you treat it just like a trustee and put it up for sale.
I think we need to exercise the rights we have in that.
You think they would you think that's a?
No, I'm not speaking on behalf, I'm not taking anyone's side, I'm explaining like a market scenario that's
Right, that's what I'm
happening.
asking.
I guess we just accept that the structure is the structure. So within that structure, we have to exercise our you know, for not being paid.
Somebody wanted to sell the property, and the issue was, I guess they could bring it to the board, we could consider that, but
There you go.
it's also, the analysis is the amount of water that's available at the lots, it's increased the value of the lots to some extent, and so, you know, it's kind of where we are.
Right, right. It just took like a good example, is we've helped the Martinez's try to sell their, I would call them meta lots, they're kind of below Gay and Paul on that hillside, where there is some activity now. I think they needed to get a little over 100,000, including this. When we first started with them, they needed to get 75,000, then the number, and it literally kind of puts it out of market value. So and then anything below that, it's even more exaggerated. So everything, they're like out of market value because of that $27,000 that has to come at the purchase, you know, at the purchase sale.
Yeah.
Can they do like monthly, has anyone wanted to like do a payment plan or something like that, so they can?
Well, they're on the yearly 15-year payment plan.
Oh, so they already are, but there's still people not paying any of their payment
Yeah,
plans.
they only need to
That's,
pay, what
what,
was that?
$2,000 a year?
2,000 is the yearly payment, so that's all they need to come up with.
$180 a month, I mean, that's not, for what, I mean, the value did go up significantly from water, no water to water.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we should be proud of what has happened down there, you know.
It was never gonna happen any other way.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's just like it
It's a
created
finish.
this like paralyzed situation. So they're not paying, you know, we have to exercise our rights to protect the service district.
So I'm gonna start on that, make contact with them, explain things to them, and see. I have to decide whether I have the right to add an interest rate, additional interest rate on it to be delinquent for the sale. So I need to know,
That makes
this is a question for Dave. We had them on our one status where they didn't have water, and then at what point do we switch them over to the other rate because they have water now in front of their lots? Is that?
I don't think they're done down there yet, are they?
No, but there is parts of the
Yeah.
project that are completed, like,
That's a good point.
most of it.
well,
Not
part
most,
that
but
we've
some.
turned on active and that people are actually using, we can put that onto that. But there's the other parts that have water in it, but it's not an active system just yet.
Yeah, it's not approved.
Right.
Like the lots all the way down to Steve Mayor's house.
Steve Mader's, all the way to Steve Mader's is all active.
You should give David those lot numbers. Those are about the only ones that have now transitioned into whatever the non-standby.
Are they connected to the system?
Steve Mader did, there's only one down there, but
All the ones leading up to it. you should
Yeah, they're all-
Show them, like, show them in front of a map.
I'll get the plot map with David. and
Very
we'll-
good, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think if the system is active, then it's time to switch over.
Let's move on.
I propose that we, accept the financials presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay. Where are we at, David?
Grant update.
There was, maybe this will come up later, but did you get those reports that I sent this morning?
That one?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I included these summary of the project.
Did you get that on the screen?
Huh?
Okay. Okay.
This is the Grizzly Ridge project, the smaller one, and according to the pay request that we've received from Sunrise, there would be $534,000 of work to be done yet, if I understand that correctly. Is that right?
Is that Tusher or Rollins?
Rollins.
That's Rollins.
Okay.
So you're saying ironically, there's 534 left in the budget and 534 left to do, exactly the same? In terms of cost?
Probably, because they probably do like a percentage of completion type billing arrangement.
It has to be.
Right, but often you're off with a percentage of complete, right? You're either overworked or underworked
Yeah, you
I
have
don't
to,
know, I don't know,
this
I don't know the answer to that, Paul.
Oh, okay.
I think that would have to be answered by, the engineers.
So Nixon, right, okay.
On this project, so there is $530,000 left in the budget, which is fixed. What we anticipate, right now, it sounds like we'll have about $150,000 surplus. So with all the costs that we expect to come in on the project, we'll,
hey, will you turn up the recorder?
No, have them come sit up here.
Oh,
so
yeah,
we
put
can-
it up front.
I'm just opening them up there now, and then you're gonna start, then you can
Yeah,
keep them up on the recording.
yeah, well, this is up, that's the main reason we got you guys here.
Yeah, I think you were next on the agenda
Yeah.
anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll give us more context.
I'm Seneca.
we'll get Kevin.
Yeah, these are the two guys, Kevin's the go.
You want me to leave this page up here though?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
talk about Rollins first.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Kevin, or,
I was just gonna say, is that,
Yeah, that screen, if you turn it on, it'll just, there you go.
Yeah, just give us a general update on Rollins first, and then we'll have a question about financials.
so the total funding is $1.775 million on that. We are, and that includes engineering, construction, and then some other costs with legal and admin, loan origination fees, appraisal and advertising. And then right now, our anticipated net surplus and overrun, which we figure on what we expect to happen, like up until the project is finished, is $150,000.
When you say surplus, does that mean?
Come under
Under budget. Does that all go to Rollins?
No, it does not get spent.
We need to, I didn't say.
So Rollins has all the downside, but they don't get the upside, is that how those contracts work? So if they went over budget?
Well, the construction contract is, about $1.5 million. And so they'll get paid the total of their construction contract minus some differences in what actually got installed. Because we've got some items that we made estimates on, and some came in over, and some came in under what it was actually needed for the project. And so that's what we're anticipating overall on the project, is we keep some contingency to account for
Okay, yeah, but we have to.
unexpected things like that.
Okay.
It looks like.
So I need to bring up two things that apply to that. One, we had one person who had an assessment, and then he gone to the county and put two lots together as one, and so we haven't resolved that issue yet, but if we just let it go and say, well, he's getting his hookup from his other lot, then that, 27,000 hopefully would be available if we didn't do the work and was being transferred from the construction part to pay the loan off. And also we had another person that, he did put a line into his lot, and we were giving credit for that. And then we had a contract with him, he's paid the rest of that, but that's still an adjustment on how much of that credit we give. The contractor didn't have to do the work to put that line in, because it was already in.
Yeah.
And so we have to make an adjustment on that and put it back over into our account to pay off the loan.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
to you guys? Those are
in
two
that
things
case-
that we hope there's enough money to deal with that.
Yeah.
Which would be basically 27,000 and then maybe, I don't know, 18,000, something like that. But it should, one reason why we should have a surplus, because we didn't have to do that work.
Right. In that particular case, we had our bidding plans, and that bid included that originally. And then before construction, we revised our plans, took that line out, made that clear to the contractor, and told him, hey, at the end of the project, this won't, like, we removed this part. And so that's reflected in our anticipated surplus.
It's already been done. It's already been done.
That line
Will be.
has already been done and was removed from the project.
in terms of the actual project, regardless of how we account for it, what's left to do, like in sort of local speak up there, what sections are they still?
Down that hole, we only got about 400 feet of left pipe to put in.
Okay, so they're all the way down?
They're all
the flat
down
now?
there towards Merchant Creek.
Okay,
When
yeah.
I left yesterday, they had just about 300 feet of pipe in down Merchant Creek. So they got about 180 feet left there and about 260 feet.
And are they putting meters in all of these?
No.
Pits? Okay,
There's
just
no-
pipes, okay,
Just a minute.
okay. All right, and then the rest of the
What were you-
ridge is all done? Well,
Yeah.
no, because Hamlin's not done.
Well, the pipe is in,
What were you, hold it, what were you gonna say? You were talking about the next thing, other than that pipe. Of course,
Well, as you go up that hill on that Merchant Creek where the old pump house was,
Yes.
there's 280 feet, 260 feet left to do there.
Okay. And does he have his machine down there?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we do the meters while we're doing?
No, it's actually,
No.
that was a bad question, because they're doing the main and the meters, like, once you have your house. Yeah.
Okay,
And the guys have been doing some meters, they have.
oh, they have, okay.
yeah, I placed the first big order today, so.
And then
I'm going to place
put
first
in a few.
big order.
And then what about, because I know we're building a house, the Hamlin house, where we came down that easement. Is that not, it's in but not?
The pipe is in, they still gotta do, pressure testing and back feed testing on that line before we can call it. And
Okay.
for, they can't use it until we do that, because we don't know.
That one's hold, but it's really like impacting that build there.
Yeah, they're like right on the verge of coming to finish all these little things up, and that's.
I think once they get the pipe in, which will be probably Monday, Tuesday of next week, depending on the weather.
Right.
They'll have all the pipe in, and I think that's when they'll come back and do back T testing, flushing.
Yeah, because we're getting Tuesday of another snow event.
Right.
So,
Friday.
Well, it's always by the skin of our chinny chin chin.
well, once a year, once that, digging that ground, once it
Yeah.
starts freezing, it's gonna be hard to dig.
But in general, they're in good shape, and they've got a lot of time left on the contract date, but they really want to get it wrapped up before the end of the season, so that they can.
They've cruised pretty well, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been pretty smooth, and, we've had solid rock in places we didn't expect it,
Yeah.
and none in other places, so, I think all in all.
Did they have to bring in the breaker for?
Yeah, they brought a hammer in.
Have you?
Yeah.
I think we have a lot of questions on the other project, but do we have
Yes.
any more questions, here, or maybe even from the crowd on the Rollins?
Just as far as timing for winter, what do we think we'll be able, I mean, obviously, there's no crystal ball here, but what's our expectations for the winter season?
We do expect this one to be, complete before winter, so.
See it?
We've got a substantial completion walkthrough
Oh,
scheduled
good.
for next Thursday.
Good.
And then after that, it'll just be cleanup items,
Mhm.
clean up the roads,
Okay.
a couple of hydrants that cover drains, DRBs that got cleaned up.
Okay.
Were you able to realign what you and I talked about?
That hasn't been done yet, it is in the plan, and that's on the.
Will that all be done, you're saying that'll all be done before
That's
summer?
that's on the other project.
Got it.
Yeah, let's go to Tusher now.
Before you go now, I did notify one of the property owners at the end of the project that we were only gonna bring the 8-inch line to the middle of his frontage. And, he hasn't responded on that, but he's aware that that's what we're gonna do. We couldn't see, normally, our laws require us to go to the
Other end
end
of
of
the
the
lot.
property line, but we couldn't see the benefit of taking the 8-inch line all the way to the end when there's nothing going on past it.
Is the last one towards the cabin?
Yeah.
Yes, and so we just are going to the middle of it, and then he will need a, whatever it is, a 3/4 inch line to wherever he wants to go. That'd be a lot cheaper than
Sure.
paying for the 8-inch.
Okay. Tusher, another story.
Yeah, Tusher, we've struggled, and I think it's been all over the board, but, the triple chair and spring development has been more challenging. So they've spent a lot of time there, and they've had plenty of frustrations on their end, and we've had ours as well. all in all,
Thought he's been good to work with, like that Clay that we
Yeah.
talked about.
yep, he was. We were miles apart in what we thought ought to be paid for quantity wise with their last pay request, and, it was uncomfortable and, would have shut the project down if we had to,
He and I discussed this for a little while.
yeah.
What did they ultimately come up with as a,
Well, the approach we had going into it is we need to pay them for what they've done and what happened.
right?
We don't agree on all the aspects of what should have happened along the way, but.
But there again, it was a special situation too in the
Yeah.
spring.
It was, and it's always been an unknown with spring development.
Okay.
January that goes into it, but Nate was really reasonable, as far as being able to say, okay, look, I don't need to gouge the system, these are my quantities that are installed and they're correct. And we said, okay, they are, but he was willing to say, well, those are my quantities, but I don't expect, the same unit price for doing.
And it was a substantial savings, right?
Yeah,
We talked about.
yeah, it was big. It's still more expensive than we anticipated for that spring development, but all in all, it will work and allow us to keep moving forward and get the rest of the things done that we need.
Okay.
What do we think on the spring itself?
CPM?
Let's talk about where we're at today. I heard something about one of the collections, so just kind of like a little bit more, how's the water coming out? When will it be done? You know, what, just give us a little more detail on the project.
Yeah, at this point, we've got 2 collection areas down there that are fully installed.
And pass the back feed test.
They passed it? Good.
There's a third area that is,
It's really installed, but it did not pass the back feed test. And 2 separate back feed tests.
Are they relatively close to one another, all these?
I mean, it's not that big, what we were saying.
It's not far from from the top to the bottom, it's a little distance, but the middle one, it creates the most water, and this lower one is really not that far from each other, technically.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Is the amount, so if you had to just, abandon that one,
Is it higher up? Is it higher up?
Right
The
in.
lowest one.
The
pump it
lowest
right
one?
into the, it's the lowest one?
Mhm.
Okay.
You pump it right into the pond, you still got to get it out of there, right? You can't.
Well, we'll still go forward and try to get a clean back feed test, have a retake it in different ways to where we know that it was taken the right way and not.
I see, like not.
Either me or Randy
contaminated.
go down and actually take the test itself.
Okay, so we're close, I mean, and I was over there the other day, so the discharge pipe, is that approximately what it's generating, like what's coming out of it?
Correct.
Okay, I didn't have a 5-gallon bucket with me, but it looks pretty good.
I'd say probably 35 gallon a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we discussed, huh?
that's with all 3.
With all 3.
That's with all 3, okay, and the other one approximately, is it about a third, or is it a
No,
little
the
less
other
than a
part,
third?
yeah, it could be, just slightly less than a third, I would guess, if the total, if something happens and you can't get a clean test and you decide at that point in time to,
Yeah.
discontinue using it.
And Pumper's doing pretty good now, with school line.
Is there any chance that will this be done before winter?
No.
No, okay, what needs to be
Close.
done?
Well, Kevin's an awesome,
You're getting,
Kevin's here, you're there.
Well, they're supposed to come next week, they're supposed to come up and dig the power line in, according to weather, and that gets installed and they set their, the pump house back on, then all that, really all they gotta do, if we could get a clean back T test out of the one, is run from the tank line down to it, and so technically, and then get it fenced, but technically it should.
Should pass.
We've said this, well, I'll be quiet.
It's just so important. I mean, it
Do your
really
best.
is.
It's possible.
Do your best.
Do your best, yeah.
But we should count on it.
Yeah, we understand.
But if the attitude is like, the attitude is we're gonna do it, then it gets done. If the
That's right.
attitude is possible,
That's
then, so that's kind of my view. But, because, just so everybody knows, we still are in a situation, if we ever had supply line problem from the puffer spring in the winter,
We're in trouble.
you could possibly have no winter at all. You would have to wait, and, you know, I don't know how we get a hold of it, it would be very
Maybe
difficult.
that's almost an impossible task over
Yeah.
that hill.
So having this done is another source of water that's independent of that,
Yeah.
so.
And also, we've talked about this before, I think that one of the main things we need to talk about here is, we have an opportunity to do the, hold on, we have an opportunity to do the Forest Service spring. We need to look at that, and if we could get that, all bets are off, we'll be fine. It's about, what is it, 75 gallons a minute in the summer?
Oh, we'll get well over 100, and 130 in the summer when it's running really good, but, I mean, it idles down to
Yeah.
like 40, 50.
Is that part of this project too, or
No,
is that without?
no, but the hard part is getting it approved, and Ron got it approved, right? Right. Where'd you go? Right, yeah, so.
Is it approved, like, even like the vehicle plan to get the machine up there, we're allowed to?
Yeah.
Wow.
We just want us to take pictures and submit it to them, what we do.
I think, is Jared the guy to talk to about that? Just interested, we will need to approve the road on the way out.
Yeah. There's,
Because we're gonna have to get supplies, we're gonna have trucks with, well, you know, dump trucks, get all the way out.
And that spring was included in the 1.7?
No. It's never been available to us
Oh,
until Ron went to
Until Ron got it.
start talking to him, yeah.
okay.
But that would completely, if we could do that, we wouldn't have a source issue anywhere, ever.
It shouldn't be that big of a deal either. I mean,
No.
I would say we
What does that cost?
consider a different contractor for this one, but, you know, it's not that big of a job, you know, compared to all this other stuff we're doing. And I'm just,
I understand.
you know, I think, I think, for, you know, this is just a very specialized, you know,
Yeah, but anyway,
spring is very special.
that's just a caveat that you guys need to know about, we've been looking at, okay?
Something that.
What would that
If we
cost?
did the
Roughly about what is
grants
that?
or something.
We don't know, they'll have to do it.
I would think it'd be under 200,000.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, you guys would be like 75,000, sorry.
Think two things and quadruple it, and we'll start there.
Yeah.
So I guess we're gonna start using Rollins?
They never did that job.
Quadruple it?
They didn't bid that.
You didn't get it, did you?
They didn't bid that.
That's right.
I know, I was just kidding.
They was the only one that did that job, right?
Yeah.
For a real, well, there was the initial ones that were.
Yeah, we did have
Okay,
4 or 5 bids on it.
Steve?
so, yes,
So could you just summarize that? I was listening to Shane, so you've got one spring that's working, but if anything happens, you don't have this other one in
no,
place?
we have Puffer working, but Puffer now has 2 pumps and 2 lines,
Okay,
and as long as Shane and I have talked about this a lot, you've heard us say, the excess water at Puffer's just going down the creek.
right.
Not now. Not
Yeah,
now.
we can pump it now.
We can pump it. So, and depends on how low, we've never known how low Puffer goes.
And that's
because
what we've
We've
always
always been able to get 45
Yeah.
CPM out of it in the winter. But if, we don't know if the other half's gonna give us 45, but it's gonna give us more because it's doing it now. And that's the issue of that spring, but the spring they're talking about now, the one that might be 35 gallons per minute, the triple chair, has 2 portions of the 3,
That's this.
the 3 sources with this one. And we gotta get a bacteria test and get the fence up and all that sort of thing. So they're pushing hard to do that, but we may not have it this winter. But we're in a better position than we were, but we still, you gotta understand, we got, what, 250,000 gallon tanks?
Yeah, all 3 tanks are live now, they're active.
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh,
how
that was
much, how much are we talking? We're talking over 500,000.
Yeah, we got 500,000 plus 70, so 570,000
And if you
gallons.
take that, and you only got 90 at max with those 2 things, you got a problem,
Well, that goes really bad. It's more the supply you can't recharge.
Yeah.
That's what, it's not, I think the springs are always
So
gonna.
the question is, as in the past, water's been shut off, the one tank gets drained, we now have the other tank.
Well, they're all
Are we at
running,
the same
they're all
risk
hooked
we have
together.
been in the past winters?
they're all hooked together, but if there's a leak,
That's too complicated to answer that way. We have twice the amount of water on hand
Right?
that we've ever had.
Yep. But
We
if,
still have the singular risk is in the
Okay,
winter
that's my
only.
question.
In the summer, we have 2 springs.
right, that's.
We currently have 2 springs, they both work in the summer, only one works in the winter.
Right,
And if anything, the supply
we're
to
still
us
in the supply risk.
is vulnerable to that supply.
And the
It's
nice-
also in a challenging area to fix.
The nicest thing about that is if we do that spring that freezes in the winter, in the summertime, that's our ace in the hole. If there's any issues in the summer, we're not gonna have them, because it's pumping 100 gallons a minute.
The nicest part
From the
about that is
consumer
it doesn't
point,
pump anything, there's no.
It seems to be okay in the summer,
Gravity
the
flow.
winter,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just
when it's off
gravity
for
feed.
5 days
Yeah.
and things like that. I
This
just
will
wondered
help.
if that risk.
This will cut in half our singular risk to that supply of water.
Thank you.
We'll change our capacity though, it is.
Oh, also, there is an alarm on the tank now.
Yeah.
So
then,
this winter, we
the alarm's
probably won't
in?
have those
Yes.
days like you had last winter.
Wow, nice.
Brandon is that.
Yay,
you guys
five.
know about 2 months
Five.
into it.
Well,
Take my shirt that night, one of the top ones.
I'm kind of sick for you every time that
Top
happens,
one.
because I'm like, well.
But honestly, we should celebrate, because we are better off right now.
Well, we have a
And
real line.
And we're gonna be better off when this next one
And
comes
there,
in.
there's more stuff to talk about. There's a SCADA system coming in, and we've decided we're gonna use radio.
Cellular.
Oh, cellular.
As
yeah,
long as
instead of radio.
the engineers got that all approved through.
Yeah, so we're getting to that point too, so all this thing would be on his phone, and he would know everything that's going on.
And we got rid of fix the problem, broken post, broken pipe.
Yes.
I talked to the SCADA guy yesterday, day before, and he says he's pretty optimistic with approvals going through that he can at least get the tank SCADA part set up good this year before winter, so I can
Good.
look at my phone and see what
Yep.
all the tanks are in that tank.
Yep.
And tell us, while we're on the topic, because I don't think we've announced it yet, tell them about the tank.
Oh, yeah, the new tank is online.
Yeah, online, in use.
And it's all through,
Well,
if it doesn't leak, national bacteria test.
Yeah, we do need to celebrate the wins, we are better off right now.
They're big ones. Okay.
So is this, budget-wise then, is this going to stay within budget, go over budget? I know there were early changes to the scope of work, and so where?
Well, we saved some money, we didn't do the pipe on Buffer Spring on the one side, so there's a few.
So where do you?
Yeah.
With everything, and one big question mark is still whether we're going to pursue the lower Puffer Spring development.
Yeah.
It's another big unknown. If that doesn't happen this year, it'd be next week, and thing if we choose to move forward with that.
How much
That's
in
the
the
one that
budget?
the county owns now?
Yeah, that's the line the county covered.
I don't have a specific number, but I'm thinking it's in the 130,000 range.
So if we didn't pursue that, we could
You'd have
possibly
that.
redirect it to the Forest Service Spring. I don't know if that happens within the context of this
Yeah.
project, but.
There's other, like, there's
We
probably
won't.
approvals to
Yeah,
chase down if we did it that way.
But we wanna get the most bang for our buck too.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Well, so that's one part of the big picture, but again, overall budget, is it gonna finish within the budget?
With everything we've got right now, and including doing that lower spring development, we're projected, Kyler's is right, that 15,000 with all the anticipated change orders.
Yes, in addition to our contingency, in the budget.
Oh, okay.
Have we drawn on the contingency in the budget yet?
In ways, yeah, just
How big is the
with overages, our contingency for the project, so contingency combined with our anticipated surplus, for like not doing that whole, Puffer Lake piping, together those are around $133,000.
So, yeah, the contingency.
So that includes the contingency on these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's everything we've got contract-wise with the change orders, everything to this point, our contingency is about 118,000. And then with everything we anticipate happening, including the lower spring development, we anticipate an additional 15,000 surplus, so that's the total of 133,000.
And then in terms of the scope of work, putting aside the lower spring project, we know where we stand on the triple tier spring project. Is there anything else left in that project?
That
And
pipeline there at Pinnacle,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's about 2,000 feet of pipe.
Okay.
And then also moving that,
Tie in
The realignment.
the realignment.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, we got
That's just right where they tied in on the Delano and Juniper.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, so we're close.
Yes, we do have the contract end date right now is November 11th. That they will not hit. And so we'll have to coordinate on where we go with them there.
We penalize when we could.
We take away his birthday,
Yeah. Your kids only get one shoe.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Give us the other one.
How did you settle on the materials issue? Is that bid settled, is that factored into the
Yes.
budget?
Mhm.
So we just basically, accommodated there was a discount in the materials price? Okay.
Yeah, because our project is based on, and maybe
Yeah,
certain.
no, it's reasonable. And it's already in course, so the numbers you just gave us already take into account that.
And they still extend it on if it does, obviously, next spring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're likely.
But there's,
Well, we've been delayed.
you have to understand they could be penalized or whatever, but
Right.
if, I think that's one of the things when they came up with the savings on the clay we were talking about, he's willing to work with us. It was substantial, it was probably $200,000. So I don't think we're gonna smack him up too hard.
I would,
That's what I mean, we could just renew it.
if I were looking at this, I see an opportunity to get the Triple Church Spring done here, where you say, we're gonna waive all this, except this, and that'll be waived if this is operational. You can still come back later and waive that as well, but that's how I was running it. I don't know who's running it, but that gives you a chance of getting it done.
Well, he's giving us a chance. Chance, either one of those two?
Well, it's not down to
So
him,
you're
it's
saying
up to
there's a
Tush,
chance?
it's not up to them.
There's a chance.
It's really not up to Kevin, but I'll do it, it's up to Tush, We're
Yeah,
going on
yeah.
to who's got this, who's
Yeah,
got that.
but it's not just up to them, it's the coordination between all these guys to make it happen. And you guys have your own say in it, he's right there.
We could live without the fence for the winter, that's not a big deal. The cows won't be back till June anyway.
Tell the cows.
Or the cows down now.
And we can just pull it off, we can do ski patrol type thing to keep skiers away, but there's nothing they're gonna hit anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, I told Brandon, your discharge pipe, it's gonna need a culvert, it just spoils out, onto our ski run, and you'll see if you go look at it, it's all rutted through there, so it needs to come under the ski run with the culvert to not do that. And that's one where, I don't even know how we're gonna open, as it is, it's gonna be really hard to open that one, so put the culvert in there, I would say is a very high priority for it not to, impact the surrounding land.
Yeah, so it's not running up.
I took a bit, if you just walk to that pipe, you'll see what I mean, like, you'll see, if you just follow your eye, you'll see where it's groomed, where it goes, then we have to cross the road, and you'll see how it just goes right across, and there's massive ruts already. And it's gonna run until it freezes, and it might not even freeze, so.
It should run nonstop till this pump's turned on, the way it's set up. There's really nothing that's gonna stop
Well,
it.
So it needs a culvert for
Will
sure.
it undercut the highway?
No, it'll go right into the proper drainage, but the way it's getting there is over the ski run.
Oh,
It's like that falling water, the one, the back way in,
Yeah.
it goes right, it's just trying to get to that
The place
culvert and.
that you ski from the look down to the bottom.
Yeah, if you want to have, when you have to take your speed, when you cross the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already a culvert, the water's all trying to get to that culvert, but
It's not organized. Okay.
So I have another issue on that project. The guy that owns the property by the tanks, we put in a new, line, but it was in the existing easement, and we've talked about this in the past, that we were gonna do an as-built easement, and he's willing to sign that, but he wanted to have an as-built easement set up, because he's not sure about whether there's anything, and also, the whole line to Puffer Springs should probably have an as-built easement, because I'm not sure if the original easement was a correct legal description of where we have the line. So is that something that we can do?
Yep. That would be too tough.
Yeah.
Together, and there's no reason we can't do it now, wherever it's in.
Yeah.
Where to get that done now? Okay.
Well, that'll be in the minutes, right? That'll be in the minutes, what you just discussed. Yeah.
Sure we are.
Okay.
You also said.
You guys are making a deal.
You're gonna get that done too, right?
We're making a deal here, these two guys. I don't know. Everybody knows who's doing it, Steph and the deal.
We've talked about it for a long time, and it's now time to do it, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
Because we haven't had issues on that, and we basically assumed, we put the new line next to the other one, figured the easement was fine, but I'm not positive that the legal on that was totally accurate.
And it may just make sense to have it updated.
Yeah.
And my argument was, well, the line's been in there for more than 20 years, so we still have a prescriptive easement if the legal's wrong, but it'd be nice to get the legal
Sure.
cleared up now.
Will you work with him to get that done?
Yeah.
All right.
I've got the letter from the state authorizing the use of the tank. Does anyone else have this letter?
I have it. It was emailed to me.
Yeah, I believe we have an email.
I think it was emailed to 3 or 4 people.
Yeah, I think I sent it,
Yeah.
I got it sent to me, I sent it to you, and I think you did send it to a couple of people out of that, and I did make sure that a couple of people got hold of it, so that I wasn't the only one with that information.
Well, that's another win.
Yeah.
And here's an acknowledgement from Rocky Mountain Power, or Pacific Corp, acknowledging that they're going to run the power down to that, triple shares.
Good.
So that happened this year?
Well, you got written power, first of all, you gotta call Rocky, this is what we're doing, you gotta call them and say, we absolutely need this, and you just have to hound them. You gotta get your act together, so that when they do give you a date, you're ready for it, and then they'll cancel that date, they'll say anything. But you have to literally just, like, we call it Tuesday and Friday standard, where you call it Tuesday and
We're
Friday.
waiting on you.
Yeah. Well, you rip it in first, it shouldn't be that hard to rip it in, it'll be a couple days.
Did they fix that thing so that you're not gonna get buzzed?
Over a buffer?
I think over, well, there was a couple places that, when you guys go with your thing at Rocky Mountain Power.
They're working on it currently.
I thought the people above my hill, I wonder if that's what
Oh,
they were.
yeah.
Yeah, so right now they put in conduit all the way from his house down past your place to that transformer by that pole.
Okay.
And then they went down past Trent, and they're down to that corner. They're just trying to tie those together and do the service line to Trent, and they'll go pull wire and abandon that whole
This
stuff.
is the cable was exposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's the one that,
Half
I'm
a
like,
bear.
Mhm.
so my kids just.
Like
do
2 or
this,
3
and then
years,
before you
started
get
2 or
buzzed.
3 years
Probably
ago.
10 years
Yeah.
it's been that way.
Yeah, we finally threw a big enough fit that they're taking care of it, so. It'll be done
We'll
shortly.
call it every Tuesday, Friday for a few months.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of things that are getting buttoned up that haven't been, that have been issues, and opportunity to do the Forest Service Springs and other things to look at, but, as far as Tusher, I guess that's the way it's gonna go, and we'll just take what we can, we're gonna work as hard as we can, as fast as we can, if we can pull it off, we will. Okay? Anything else, any other questions for these guys?
One more, what would it take to do that Forest Service, like that's what we.
We don't know, well, he's just saying,
We're gonna have to have it engineered and all that before any,
it won't be $1.7 million, you know,
It's something we could probably do.
it'll be 1.6. No, but anyway, so I think we made a lot of progress over the years, but very recently the progress has been a lot faster. I think it's worked out good. And thank you for the easement for the spring and change and all that stuff too. It benefits all of us for sure.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. I think if you ever talk to them,
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You good?
Reach out with more questions.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
I'll be talking to you about a couple of things. Okay? Thanks, guys. Appreciate what you're doing.
You're up, Brandon.
well, we never did say anything on the grant update. That kinda got tossed as we
Yeah,
brought
yeah,
it
yeah.
up, so. I don't know, what if you got anything?
The one that Rich is after?
Yeah.
No,
Or-
the one that,
or what
the
you're-
one that we're
The one that
after.
we're after.
You talked about
Oh,
having,
it's the West Malloy.
yeah, you
okay.
talked about having five
Here's
counties.
what Rich told me, and he's been following this really close. Right now, it's still in limbo, but Rich has made some pretty substantial, connections. The guy that bought the property from him was, Romney's, what do you call it, manager?
Chief of staff.
Chief of staff, yeah. and that's what he is. And he happened to go up there one day and ask him why he was taping it all off, and he told him, he said, well, but Ronnie's gonna be gone, but the guy has other connections too. So what he said to me, Rich, was that is the thing, but right now with the election, everything's just been sitting there, it's just sitting. And it'll change after that, a lot of things are gonna change after that, one way or another. But that's where it's at right now, it's pretty much in limbo until probably, first of next year. But it's still fundable in, what is it, December of '25? Yeah.
We have all our paperwork, everything's
Yes.
done that way, we're still,
Yes.
we don't have to do anything more there.
We're kinda just waiting on everything else to fall into place.
Literally, we need to get a senator to sponsor it is still the issue.
Well,
So, and I don't know, John Curtis is, they're all going to the polls next week or month. But anyway, that's what it is, and that's why Rich isn't here. He said, I don't have anything to tell you, that's a change. And I said,
after the election,
and I said,
we
Heidi will
talked to
miss
John
you.
Curtis.
That Heidi will miss you. She almost called me.
I was like, what's going on?
So, yeah, but that's what's going on with that.
So, one question I have, so Les Malloy sings, but she can't sponsor it. But it's senator,
She
because when I talked to John Curtis's office,
Uh-huh.
their thing is because at the time, he was also a congressman, right?
Right,
And I guess one congressman can't mess with the other congressman's
Right.
thing. But as soon as he's a senator, then he can sponsor it.
right. Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. We can do that, I'm sure we can do that.
I think we can still do that.
We're scheduled.
Project update, engineering, we're done. Brandon, overview of current operations?
Water system status, big ones that I was gonna say is that the tank is online, that's all good to go. The water alarm for the tank is on, so if it drops below a certain level, it flashes the bright red light and screams at the top of its lungs for the battery guys.
Are the tanks full, Brian?
Tanks are all full right now, they don't have any major leaks in the system.
What
We did have,
was the leak you fixed?
well, we went up there and looked at the tanks, last week, and they were down a couple inches, which was weird, because we have a ton of water right now. So we just went to go to the next vault down the hill to look at the meter in there to see how much water was going through.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually leaking in that vault. So,
Sprayed
it
it.
was a quick, easy fix, got that one taken care of, and
Yeah.
then, right now, like, it's very minimal what is systemically leaking through our system, like, what,
Potentially, it's almost no leak.
12 to 15 gallons a minute, which is a couple of running toilets and a leaking seal somewhere in a pipe.
That's pretty
You're
good.
never really gonna get it below that.
Pretty good. Okay.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Flow measurements or?
Flow measurements, it's hard to tell right now because we've had pumps on, off,
Yeah.
springs shut down, turned on with all these projects and everything going on. So it's been hard to get an accurate reading on any of that. If I had to guess, which I'm sure is not the answer you wanna hear, but we can get about 110 to 120 gallons a minute out of the puffer spring right now. It hasn't slowed down for the winter yet. And then the Forest Service spring is still just fluctuating a lot on all of this. I think right now we're probably doing about 35, 40 gallons a minute on the puffer
Still
spring.
coming from that one.
Or on the Forest Service
Forest
spring.
Service, yeah.
On flow measurements, I think that's it. Update on roads. I know they didn't bring it up too much. A lot of the roads that we have problems with, like Birch and Sunset, where they did those projects and tore it up. Kelly Rollins is planning on bringing his, bulldozer up, and he's got a line item for road base in the project to fix some of those roads that he's messed up, and so that's kind of why we've been holding off on it, because we gotta pressure test them.
Right.
If we go spend all this money to fix them, then pressure test it and it leaks, and we gotta dig it up and then fix them again, so we gotta get that pressure testing done and then get these roads fixed, and should be golden on that end. And then equipment status, we talked about the new vehicle, so you guys all know that now, and everything else is, I think, in pretty tip-top shape. I need a radiator cap for the dump truck.
You chaining up? You chaining up?
I got one loader halfway chained, just for these small storms,
Okay.
and here, probably the next week, we'll chain everything up all the way.
How are the chains, are we gonna have to replace them during the winter?
I don't think we'll have to replace them this season.
Cutting edges.
We're gonna need some cutting edges, but the chains are all fairly new, so we should be good.
Before we leave the topic of the roads, and I wish Lance were still here, I don't have a particular motion I'm making, but the service, we are the road authority. A road has a right of way, and I haven't looked at it, but it'll be in the plat. And it works fine really all over the
tracks, but.
between Canyonside Lodge and Mount Holly Village.
Yeah.
Both sides, us and Mount Holly Village, are in the road right of way.
Yes.
The Mount Holly Village side is even more pronounced because they choose to, you got Lance's stream, you know, that he protects with little, you can't, you have a stream that he's created, he puts cones out there with like elves on top of the cones, literally gardens. And that takes the road down
That was
to
Ellen Barnes.
maybe half of what.
No,
of what it
that's
should
not
be.
Ellen Barnes, that's
That's
Lance.
They're all related, they love that little thing, so.
Ellen doesn't
And
like
then,
to
in the winter, it becomes even more, because you've got the snow piled up there, so
Against what,
there's no road, the road right of way is being, you know,
Buried.
encroached by both sides.
yeah.
I'm not making this today, because I'm gonna talk to Lance, but, you know, especially if we're talking about paving the roads of the village and all that, there shouldn't be any parking on either side, and there should be a big ditch that runs down, you know, where the current Mount Holly Village,
The east side.
parking lot is,
The
yeah.
east side.
And that's the proper way that any engineer, you know, would, or any of us who know the community and watch what's going on, is how that should be handled. So, I'm not making any motion, you know,
Well,
I've already
and then
brought this up to them once.
And they're parking in there in the winter, and you don't have any room to do anything.
All of us, it's very dangerous too. I mean, there's,
Yeah.
someone's gonna get
It's
hit right there.
narrow,
And
yeah.
that's where, if you look at the heat map of where accidents happen, they all happen there. All the accidents in the whole resort area happen right there. So it's a
Sometimes
problem.
it blocks
It's a
the
problem
snow
for the
plate
road.
owners
Yeah.
even get in.
Yeah.
It's worse than pinched, it's blocked.
Why don't you just
Especially
have
at
it
the end.
surveyed? It seems to be a question of where the road is. Can you, I mean, you got a county surveyor, why don't you
Yeah,
have it
that's what I'm
surveyed?
saying, just, you know, look at the road right
Probably a
away.
couple thousand to have it surveyed.
We could have it surveyed, and I don't even know if we necessarily need the survey, because a single lane road is 20 feet wide with 10 feet easement on each side, so that's 40 feet going through there would give you where you need to be.
There's
And
not
there's not, between the lodge parking and the.
There should be no parking, now the lodge shouldn't have it.
Yeah, all of that should not be
That's
parking.
your main thoroughfare, it's literally like, most of the people in the village use that.
Well, and their complaint will be we don't have any place to park our stuff.
They got that lower parking lot.
They have the lower one that we expanded, we could work on something, and I have that land over, I mean, I don't think that's, first of all, that's not our problem,
Yeah,
that's not our problem.
I understand.
You know, we have a
talking about-
safety issue with the road
Yeah.
where both
Well,
sides have been encroaching forever, and
But I think you're right, it has to be addressed, let's see.
I don't know if it's too late in the year to do something about it, other than kind of,
I don't think we have to do any
Yeah.
construct, there's nothing to do
You
right now.
talk to Cindy
it's a
about the
planning issue.
qualifications for the road, and do that, or?
yeah, I can pull up qualifications for a road, and I can get it surveyed on where our easements technically are, and then we can set those
Let's
our
do that,
plans.
let's do that.
And then,
That's a starting point.
okay.
Yeah, they
I'll
should be
have
able to
you-
do road center line, and then everything would be defined off of that.
Yeah.
I can have you pull the easements.
I just interject. I think the question is, some owners think the road is someplace, some owners think the
That,
road is
yeah.
other place. If you get it surveyed, it then,
Settled.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And the
And we can run
cones,
through our
the
lawn.
cones might go away.
Can you move forward to get it surveyed?
Yeah, I don't see any reason I couldn't
We
just
don't
get
need
hold
a
of a
motion
surveyor.
for that?
I haven't used anybody on a surveyor, but I like that guy that you guys were having for a while. Yeah,
Yeah.
have him survey
They're the
it.
most responsive, Platt is like, got to the point where it's hard to,
Yeah, he's probably about 9 years old now.
well, he's great, but they just.
isn't there a guy?
He's
who's-
very, he's like all the Peter City stuff, Trump's all about.
County uses.
Yeah, I
Can't
did.
Can't think of
Or
it.
not even 70,
Almost 73.
Yeah, we could bring a surveyor on, it won't be a big deal.
Yeah, TJ's good one. All right.
There's a county survey.
Okay.
Fire.
Fire.
Woolsey? Yeah,
Fire.
Steve Woolsey.
Fire.
Nothing.
They're still their thing?
Well, news is good news,
Oh, yeah, but, you know, the qualification for insurance was 15% off for me.
So we should probably take that, right?
Well, yeah.
We should go take that money and forget about that.
Well, you should check out what's
Don't
interesting to me, so, you know how you've read about California, a lot of the carriers pulled out. One was State Farm. State Farm would never do much around here, only to save it, but they're like doing mountain stuff at prices you couldn't never imagine. So check out State Farm when it
That's
comes
what I
to your
have to
renewal.
say.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they're really active, they have to replace all that business that
Oh, right.
you know, left in
They will
California.
away.
Yeah, I think my insurance doubled last year.
So have your taxes.
And so did my dad.
Wade?
Wonder why.
Wade?
You mean homes going up?
I have to tell you what Chad Johnson told me at the beginning of time. I said, this is Boston Tea Party. I said, taxation without representation. He looked at me square in the face, and he was the councilman. He said, well, we figure if you guys out there can afford those homes, you can figure that you can pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, how do we change that? Probably never will. But yeah, and you know what's funny?
Everybody's taxes went up.
I know, but you know, realistically,
Did they
look at
double?
what people pay, what people pay elsewhere for what we have, it's a steal. And it's not gonna stay that way forever with these other things, but geez. Anyway.
Water rights.
Water rights, Leo.
Well, Joyce sold an acre, her water rights to that guy that bought your property, Shane, up there on the
Okay.
upper side.
So just up for Class A water?
Yeah,
Okay.
with her Class A water.
Way to go for it.
But he wants to, develop a spring by his property rather than try to, you know,
Get our water
get a
system.
line to go to his property. If he, I don't know if he'll be successful in that because the state usually requires you to be involved with the public water system.
Mhm.
So I don't know whether they would allow that, but it'd be a lot cheaper for him if he were to develop a little spring. He only wants to do a couple of little, I don't know what you
Yurts.
call them,
Yurts. Yeah, it's not much of a spring.
Yurts.
He's like, wants it to just be made, there's like an existing spring there, I don't know how he's gonna purify it. So I don't think it's like a clean
Is
drinking.
it supposed to be like off the grid type stuff?
Kind of, yeah, yeah, I think he wants to have his yurts, he wants to be like, he's a backcountry guy, he's not like a developer.
So I just wanted to let you know that's something happened during the last month also.
Okay.
When you have 50 acre feet that the county was acquired through that property transfer, and that's gonna be the same thing for them, when it's worth it for us to get a line to wherever the development is, or whether they develop their own spring or something, for whatever camping units you put around there. I just don't know what's gonna work out the best, so we'll see how that works out down the road. If we have to, we can deed the county the water right if they wanna develop their
How
own
would you get the
spring.
water from that which comes out of the bottom of the spring?
I think they're gonna want their own well, otherwise, cause you're talking about below the road, right? Like
Yes.
where the little lakes are,
Yes.
there's no water anywhere near that.
There's active springs over there that are.
A well or a spring, but like instead of piping it all the
All
way
you
to the
do is
bottom.
ride your ATV up that
Except
trail,
for-
and they're crossing the trail in about 2 or 3 places.
Yeah.
So we'll just work with the county and see what,
Yeah.
the best way to work with them. We can deed them the water right, but they still what the state does where they require a public water system. I'm not sure how that works, if that will work out or not.
Yeah.
We're available to provide the water, you know, we just have to get the water line to where they need it, and that might be fairly expensive.
Right.
Yeah, digging that would be quite a bit more expensive than putting in a reasonable well or spring collection down on that side.
Right.
It's really your guys' decision, I guess, we got the water, but.
I think it's definitely down there, they want their own, and then I think all those people like the new guy in Shornos and the Sitla piece, they're gonna want their own at some point, not their own, you know, this would be us, but like a new independent system.
They're close by, they have to build a tank, so we could then maybe get water into a tank up there for them.
Yeah, they came and asked me about it.
It's not that far of a run, I don't know how long that
They're not
is.
that far away from the Puffer Pipe, right?
Yeah, I just don't know if they would allow a direct line, another direct line
So-
from the puffer pipe.
The puffer pipe, we probably could put a line over, but it has to hit a tank before it goes into the rest of the system to meet all of the
Right.
stuff, so the
Yeah,
only
they-
real options you got is come off that, build a tank, and then feed that, or come out of Aspen Grass and finish that line back over and up the hill, which would be quite the undertaking.
Yeah, that's a long.
Yeah, so those are really the options, other than putting in another water source there, but being up on top of that hill, it's kind of.
Well, and this is all to be determined.
Yeah, it sounds real.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's
That's
what
it?
I had to say.
Okay. Eagle Point, anything going on?
Nothing notable, we're just finishing up construction, we hope to have the Polestar building done in about 3 weeks, the first one, and the other one will be 6 weeks after that.
What building is that, sorry?
The buildings by the tunnel, the two new buildings.
Oh, yeah.
So David, I have the plat is with Cindy now, so we may have, I guess you've got a, impact situation coming up here.
Impact fees.
I'll let you know,
Are they also,
yeah.
good, good?
Nothing else really to know.
When you get open?
December 20th.
Okay. Not normal,
Always the same, yeah, it's the Friday before Christmas, yeah.
Steve, last meeting you asked me to look into some type of a recording device.
Yes.
For the meetings on the mountain. Our strategic development officer has, she bought a tool, I think it's an owl, I can't remember what she called it, and she's using it this month at some of her meetings. She said if you have internet connection, you can also do, like, you could also maybe set up a Zoom or something through that tool. So she's going to use it and then let me
See how it
know
works?
how it goes, what the sound, you know, how it picks up sound and what
So
it
that'd
does.
work at the shop, doesn't it?
I don't know that it would work at the shop, I know
thought we
it
were
would,
just saying the Kingside Lodge.
it would work for sure at
Comfortable.
the lodge.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we do?
Yeah, somewhere that we have, yeah.
Yeah.
The problem with the shop is just the noise.
Echo.
It's just
Oh,
the
yeah,
echoing
yeah.
and all that noise in
Well-
there. It just makes the recording really
My
loud.
question's answered.
Yeah. So I'll keep
Okay.
pursuing that and I'll let you know, 'cause I know
Okay.
you were talking about that for this summer. So she hasn't tried it yet. She told me as soon as she gets it and gets it out and uses it, she'll let me
Was
know.
it pretty costly?
I can't remember. I think she told me a couple $1,000.
Oh, okay.
And then we'd be able to take it up there all summer and use it, and then if we have internet, we could broadcast the meetings with it, that would be beneficial as well.
Sure.
So I'll
Okay,
keep looking into that, and she can
Okay.
also let me know, so.
that'll be good. Okay, any other business?
We talked about our next meeting.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
December 6th.
Well, you got the November meeting.
November 22nd, I think, is the fourth Friday.
Well, we do the November meeting sooner. We do it on the 15th,
Oh, that's right.
because the December meeting's on the 6th.
We have, on our next meeting, we have to approve the tentative budget.
Yep,
Okay,
And then the following meeting, we have to have a budget hearing.
yep.
yeah, that's what we do at the December meeting. Okay,
So you'll get that all advertised
Yes.
properly?
Yes, I will. I have a note to do that, because this meeting's over.
So we're gonna do it on the 15th?
Wait, isn't it the 22nd, because Thanksgiving's the following week on the 28th? Isn't it 22nd?
If it's
Is it the 22nd or the 15th?
I have the 20, the
Let me
15th.
look at the notice. Just one second.
I mean,
We can change what we want.
Yeah, we do have time to put it whenever we want,
I
that's
can't
true.
come on
we do
15th.
have time to
Thanksgiving is on weekend, so you don't, you're telling me not.
Yeah, 22nd.
I would hate to
That's how
have to
you,
travel
that's
on
what you
that.
have on for?
Oh,
I'd love to keep the 15th, if that's what we plan.
Yeah.
Y'all left me.
Was it on for the 15th or was it on the?
I looked
Yeah,
at
on the 15th.
Oh, I thought you said you had to have it down there.
Well, I have it recurring, and I thought, so we moved it to the 15th.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Are you guys on with the 15th?
I can't come. I'm sorry, whoever that's over.
Okay,
I didn't know.
Question mark?
is there anything else we need to discuss? Hello?
What was your date, Seth?
Just one
15th.
second, we're talking to David here. Because what? You don't, the 15th
The
not gonna
question,
work for
the
you?
15th might be difficult for me because I'm having
Oh, you're getting your knee replaced.
knee replacement on the 4th. And I don't know what kind of shape I'm going to be in.
How's the 22nd sound?
I'll do the 22nd, but I have to do that electronically. I don't want to travel that, that's like the
Yeah.
worst weekend to travel ever.
Okay,
Well,
let's switch it.
Is that better for David?
To what?
Yeah.
The 22nd?
22nd.
I'm not in trial then.
Well, that's just normal then. I say we have the meeting at David's house,
so I
we
need
don't have
permission
to.
to participate.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think there's no reason we did, if that's an issue.
So now I just gotta get Rich's.
Yeah, but we have to, yeah.
Yes, that's very part of the process.
But, no, let's tell him it's the 15th.
You can deliver.
Let's tell them
So you're looking 22nd and then December is what?
December 6th.
It's December December sixth, okay, that's when I go.
Yeah, and that's the one we have.
That's the 19th.
In the afternoon,
Yeah.
5 o'clock or something like
Yeah.
that.
Are there any board member terms coming up at the end?
Mine, who Gabe's?
No, none.
Yeah?
None?
No, none this year.
I think it's
Yeah,
2
it's next
years, so I think it's.
Oh,
Yeah, you
okay.
gotta only at least another 5, and 5 more years, 5 more years.
If my wife doesn't get out of this back surgery, I might not have 5 more weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You guys have all skipped last.
So-
time. Yeah,